Work will begin by excavating the thick Derbyshire limestone to make a huge step in the rock. This may be an environmental home, but there are no hay bales or mud walls here. Concrete will form the platform for the house to sit on. And more carbon-heavy materials like blockwork and steel will form the rooms and the superstructure. To offset all this, Fred wants this house to be heated by the sun. So a wall of south-facing glazing will allow sunlight in to warm the concrete foundations. And then that heat will be locked in at night by closing heavily insulated timber shutters. 3 modest bedrooms and 2 bathrooms will be tucked into the hill on the lowest floor. But it's the middle floor where this house really will open up. The main living spaces will be drenched in light and will take in some spectacular views across the valley. The kitchen, snug and family room of the middle floor will be crowned by the smallest floor at the top, which will house Fred's timber-clad office and a timber bridge leading to the front door. Disguised as a traditional Derbyshire barn, this small stone-clad top floor will be the only visible part of this house from the road. And all the stone used to clad the barn will be recycled from the site in the local vernacular. This place has the potential to be a beautiful home to live in, but a possible nightmare to build. To deliver the space they want, Bourne and Eleanor's healthy house will have hidden depths. They'll start by excavating 700 cubic meters to accommodate a large concrete basement. In the darkest corner, they'll put the plant room, family bathrooms, and a cinema room. While in the lighter spaces, a master suite for Bourne and Eleanor and 3 bedrooms for the children will all look out onto a sunken garden. Above ground, they'll use big, pre-formed, ready-insulated timber panels, or cassettes, to make a single-story building. The timber, insulation and cladding will all use low-toxin materials for a healthier home. The entire building will be skinned with an airtight membrane to satisfy Bourne and Eleanor's air quality requirements, then fitted with a mechanical ventilation system with extra filters. The spaces above ground will be light-filled and contain the main living areas, decorated with solvent-free paints and low-toxin flooring and furnishings to minimize the danger of allergic reaction. Outside, the building will be clad in large and white render with a modest grey zinc roof. Bourne and Eleanor hope this place will be a haven for their children, but there are very few precedents for hypoallergenic buildings. No one knows if it'll work. The shallow foundations give a clue to the unusual zigzag shape of this house, following the slope's contours and the lines of previous archaeology trenches so as to respect the medieval and Roman remains buried below. Meanwhile, the planners wanted to see a single-story building here, so as to preserve the sightlines to and from the abbey, and construction would be in light, highly insulated timber cassettes to reduce the weight of the building on the archaeology below. The glazed link between the 2 wings will suggest a light, transparent centre to the house that's almost not there. Cladding will be narrow, cinder-coloured bricks with decorative coursing, echoing a 2,000-year-old Roman wall building style appropriate for this city. The brickwork flourishes will be triangular pierced screens, almost redolent of ruined walls. The roof will be flat and punctured by 3 large roof lights and a series of light tubes to brightly illuminate the rooms. And it'll be covered in sedum, another planning condition. The west wing will contain a series of bedrooms, the master suite, a row of 3 almost monastic rooms for the children, a spare room, and at the end a family cinema room. Through the front door, you'll cross a tiny moat of water, then turn left along the glazed link to reach the living wing. You'll have noticed there's no white emulsion here. The house is built of wood and lined with wood, maple, partly to suggest a traditional house in Japan. Almost every fitting and piece of furniture will be crafted from yet more maple in the pursuit of a single ordered aesthetic. There are rooms too. This house isn't open plan, but highly organized into compartments, sitting and dining rooms, and a kitchen. This design is rich in influences. It's part Japanese transparency and lightness, part medieval cloister, and part Roman villa in layout. And nowhere are you far from a relationship with the natural organic world, which of course for Chris means there has to be a putting green in his garden. The centrepiece will be a vast single 220 square metre open plan living space made from 40 chunky Speyer-like steel beams. The Speyer-inspired glass walls will also be big, 4 metres tall, though they'll be separated by areas of cladding to save some money. The impression ought to be of a structure floating out over the valley. Adjoining, there'll be a more pragmatic bedroom wing set back into the hillside, also made from steel but altogether more modest and hidden behind timber cladding. The house will be accessed via a walkway leading down from the hillside above. Immediately inside, your eye will be led by an overhead strip of glass 13 metres long towards the heart of the home, an enormous open-plan kitchen, dining and living room space that'll enjoy some commanding views of the valley below. Also here there's a playroom cum TV room, an office, utility room, shower room, and some all-important storage for surfboards and wetsuits. The bedroom wing starts with a 20-metre-long hallway, off which will be an ensuite guest room, bedrooms for each of the 3 children, and for Harry and Bryony their own master suite at the end. What makes this house different from the Speyer original is its scale, bigger by a third. It's Speyer on steroids. So to pull off something like this, you'd expect a budget in excess of £1 million, wouldn't you? Permission's been granted to erect a new 290 square metre structure, no higher than the bungalow it replaces. It'll be made entirely out of concrete, and everything about this project screams experimentation. It's a single-storey dwelling, yet its foundations are on 7 different levels. To construct the walls and roof, enormous formwork panels will be built on site, into which liquid concrete will be poured. Not the conventional stuff, but cutting-edge structural and insulated mixes. Once it's all set, the panels will be removed to reveal the bare concrete structure beneath. And that's how it'll remain, because there'll be no plaster or paint. Several deeply recessed windows will allow some shafts of all-important natural light to enter the otherwise gloomy structure. On the inside, a hallway will lead to the main living block, which incorporates a kitchen and a sunken dining area. With, next to it, an even lower living room cum playroom, right next to the garage. Raised above the communal areas, there'll be bedrooms for each of the 3 children, a family bathroom, and a master bedroom block for Adrian and Megan. Even the new swimming pool in the garden will be cast from concrete. When it was built in the 1760s, this faux castle had 3 simple timber floors. A catastrophic fire in the late 1800s destroyed the wooden interior, and so began the cycle of decline. It was abandoned for 200 years, and weather badly eroded every stone and every inch of mortar. Until 8 years ago, the council inserted a ring beam of red brick to tie it together and avoid total collapse. Jimmy and Mimi's project will start with trenches for utilities before they can begin work on the crumbling stone walls. Inside, they'll make a compact kitchen out of what will be a lower ground floor. The upper floors will be supported on steelwork that will slot into the old walls. On the first floor, the octagonal lounge will offer countryside views from every window, with just enough room for an open fireplace. The second floor, the grandest, will have the tallest ceilings and offer the best views from 2 bedrooms, each with a compact ensuite. Jimmy wants to reinstate a spiral staircase squeezed into the east turret that'll lead up to the roof, which will serve as a lookout among the oak tree canopy. And a reinstated grand staircase will complete this project, for which they have a modest budget, £200,000, that comes from the sale of a previous home. In contrast to the houses here, Beth and Andrew's building sits at the back of the site. This allows them to strip the roof at the front, restore and paint the metal trusses, reuse the dairy doors to screen off some parking, and turn the rest of the yard into a Parisian courtyard front garden. The American barn gambrel roof is useful. It doesn't use trusses, just front-to-back purlins which they want to expose and repair. The roof is tall. It's 4 meters high. But they're not extending the floor space up here, and are trying to squeeze 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms into the original footprint. The ground floor will be extended out into the yard, allowing a semi-open-plan kitchen and living room to fully engage with the garden through a wall of glazing. I'm expecting this house to feel raw and industrial, with rough brickwork, old ceiling joist, and perhaps the odd cobweb even. At the rear, they'll punch a hole in the roof of the cold storage area to form another courtyard and let the daylight in. A small study will look out onto this little oasis, its ceiling perforated with a generous skylight, like those on the new steel roof. Beth and Andrew reckon this study in French picturesque decay will take just 12 months to complete. The race has already begun to finish the lower story of concrete blockwork. 4 ground floor bedrooms and 2 bathrooms will be neatly squeezed onto this narrow site, connected by a long corridor. The blockwork walls will be clad in stone reclaimed from the demolished sheds. Precast concrete slabs will be craned into position to form the base of the more adventurous first floor. It'll be constructed from large timber panels slotted together in just a few days to enclose a semi-open plan living space, with a kitchen, dining area, study, small toilet and sitting room. The roofing panels will be supported with external trusses so that inside the roof lines are left clean and open. You'll be funneled along a highly reflective concrete floor, poured and polished on site, and inevitably drawn towards the sweeping views via a large end window and a protected balcony. The first floor will be clad in larch, and cement corrugated panels will skin the roof, making this house undeniably shed-like. But a sharp, modern, strong shed, very different from where they currently live. To start, Joe's putting a third of it underground. He wants a 3-meter deep basement, the exact size of the site, poured in reinforced waterproof concrete. That'll require high levels of engineering accuracy. Joe's designed his own insulated brackets, which will support 2 floating concrete floors. The top 2/3 of the building will be made from structural insulated timber panels, made off-site and then precisely assembled in East London. The structure will then get even more insulation on the outside, before a covering of cedar cladding. Inside this highly engineered and insulated building is a very smart layout. Basement storage, a workshop, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a study and a snug, which leads up to the full-length kitchen living room, are squeezed onto 3 floors and 3 half floors. The top floor will be a single kitchen living room, crowned with a full-width slanted window to wash this space in light, and provide access to a small roof terrace. Kelly and Massaco's new 2-story eco-home will rise up out of the fens on stilts to reduce the risk of flooding. Unusually, this oak-framed house will be hexagonal to mirror the shapes of the natural world like honeycomb and plant cells. The huge, complex oak frame will be handmade by Kelly, and the walls will be filled with straw bales, a cheap but efficient insulation material, protected by a layer of timber boarding and rendered on the outside with lime. The ground floor will be divided with a guest suite on one side, with bathroom, and next to it a utility room. Beyond that, there'll be a large open-plan kitchen, dining and living space. Kelly and Masako want the inside of their house to be full of natural materials. So the spacious sitting room will have a unique one-off staircase carved from an 800-year-old oak tree trunk that Kelly has salvaged. Upstairs, there'll be 3 bedrooms and a bathroom, all accessed from a hexagonal landing with a balcony that overlooks the sitting room. Large windows in all the rooms will illuminate the house with natural light, minimizing the use of electricity. While the roof lantern will allow more light to spill through the center of the building, filtering down onto the oak tree trunk staircase. The roof will be topped off with durable cedar shingles. Despite its complexity, this 6-sided building has been designed to be built by one man and a tractor, making it surprisingly affordable.